The oil spill continues to seep through Capitol Hill. Top BP executives testify before lawmakers. The Obama administration wants offshore drilling safety enforcement to be an independent organization. And why the Senate Majority Leader is no longer thinking big when it comes to passing comprehensive energy legislation this year.
From the Energy News Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Energy Report with Susan McGinnis.
Good afternoon, I'm Susan McGinnis. Welcome to the Energy Report. The finger pointing has begun. Executives from oil companies appeared before a Senate committee today to explain what went wrong when an explosion ripped apart the Deepwater Horizon, sending millions of gallons of oil into the Gulf. BP America Chairman Lamar McKay told lawmakers the massive spill was caused by the failure of a blowout preventer on the Transocean drilling platform. Transocean CEO Stephen Newman said there is no reason to believe that its blowout preventer was faulty.
The one thing we do know is that on the evening of April 20th, there was a sudden catastrophic failure of the cement, the casing, or both. Without a failure of one of those elements, the explosion could not have occurred.
Now, Newman added that BP was in charge of drilling and it is responsible. Halliburton President Tim Probert said his company was following BP's drilling plan and the concrete and casing work was done in accordance with the requirements set out by BP following accepted industry practices. Probert pointed back to the failure of Transocean's blowout preventer. Several senators criticized all the finger pointing. New Jersey Democrat Robert Menendez called the testimony a Texas two-step. Well, the cause of the Deepwater Horizon disaster remains unknown, but one thing is for sure, offshore drilling safety enforcers need more independence. At least that's the opinion of Interior Secretary Ken Salazar, who says he will ask Congress for $29 million to split Interior's offshore leasing agency, the Minerals Management Service, and give enforcers more tools.
I intend to establish a separate and independent safety and environmental enforcement entity that will require a restructuring of MMS. I believe the job of ensuring energy companies follow the law and protect the safety of their workers and the environment should be independent from MMS's leasing, revenue collection, and permitting functions.
Salazar says he's also asking Congress to change the law requiring MMS to decide on leasing applications in only 30 days. He said MMS should have at least 90 days and more in some complex cases. Salazar praised government employees who he says are working 20-hour days to figure out what went wrong 3 weeks ago on that BP drilling platform in the Gulf and to stem the consequences. But he said he also wants a fully independent assessment of the accident, which the National Academy of Engineering has agreed to perform at his request. Tomorrow, Senators John Kerry and Joe Lieberman are set to roll out their long-awaited climate bill. Clean Skies News has obtained a copy of the draft short summary of the legislation. Here are some key provisions in what will be called the American Power Act. The carbon cap system would cover only the largest 7,500 CO2 emitters. The bill would implement a price collar on carbon with a floor of $12 and a ceiling of $25. Producers and importers of refined products and farmers would get certain exemptions from the caps. And with language referring specifically to the Gulf oil spill, this bill would give states the right to opt out of offshore drilling up to 75 miles from their coastlines. The draft short summary also refers to incentives for natural gas, nuclear, and coal sectors. Clean Skies News will be there for the rollout of the Kerry Lieberman bill. You'll see full coverage on tomorrow's edition of the Energy Report. On the eve of the Senate climate bill's arrival, Majority Leader Harry Reid is casting some doubt about the future of the legislation. Reid has said he plans to combine that climate bill with the clean energy measure the Energy Committee passed last year. But in an interview with Univision, Reid said a smaller bill has a better chance of passing the Senate this year. Referring to what he sees as a lack of Republican support, Reid said, quote, "The big bill that we need to do, they are not helping us on that, but I can do a smaller energy bill." He didn't elaborate on whether that smaller bill would be the Energy Committee's Acela bill. The climate bill's one-time Republican co-author Lindsey Graham will apparently not be on hand on Wednesday to endorse the legislation. The nation's top mine regulator says recent disasters have revealed shortcomings with the industry's ability to respond. Mine Safety and Health Administration Director Joe Main told industry officials today mine operators must improve their abilities to respond until regulators arrive. He says only 32 out of 418 coal mines in the U.S. have complied with MSHA's advice for preparing for disasters. Among other things, MSHA wants operators to mark key underground locations on the surface. That would make it easier for rescuers to drill accurate holes to search for miners or survey the atmosphere in a mine such as Massey's Upper Big Branch. Overseas, Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin traveled to Siberia today to observe rescue operations at the country's largest coal mine. More than 350 miners were underground when 2 explosions hit the mine over the weekend. 43 are confirmed dead, 47 more are missing. Putin visited with grieving relatives, injured workers, and emergency workers. He has ordered an investigation into the cause of the accident. It's believed to have been sparked by pockets of methane gas. The Rasbadskaya mine has reserves of about 450 million tons of coal. It produces nearly 9 million tons a year. That energy-only bill that's waiting to hit the Senate floor includes a number of efficiency improvement measures, an especially hot topic right now in Washington. Well, this week, the nation's capital is hosting the annual Energy Efficiency Global Forum. Among the opening speakers talking efficiency, Kathy Zoy, where you see there from the Department of Energy, also EPA's Gina McCarthy. Today, Clean Sky's Tyler Suiters talked with Naruk's Tony Clark about the push for national energy efficiency policy changes, a strategy Clark says may be an inefficient way to bring about improvements among utilities.
The answers that you're going to get for energy efficiency are going to depend widely region by region. If you look at, for example, a part of the country where they have 15, 16 cent kilowatt hour rates and compare it with the part of the country like my part of the country where we've got 6.5 cent retail rates, you can do a lot different sort of energy efficiency in the higher cost states than you can in a state like North Dakota simply because the margin is so much thinner.
Well, Clark adds there is at least one major issue that should be answered at the federal level. He says if Congress enacts a national renewable energy standard, there should be a national approach to siting and building requisite new transmission. The Efficiency Forum wraps up tomorrow afternoon. Britain's Crown Estate has given the go-ahead to expand major wind farms off the coasts of Suffolk, Kent, Cumbria, and Liverpool Bay. Permits have gone to RWE, Vattenfall, and Dong Energy to develop offshore wind farms totaling 2 gigawatts of capacity. Centrica, Scottish and Southern Energy, and Warwick Energy also got extensions to existing offshore wind projects. The estate administers 55% of Britain's coastline and most of the surrounding seabed. The UK surpassed Denmark in 2008 as the leader in installed offshore wind power, last month reaching 1 gigawatt. Here's a check of some goings-on around the Beltway tomorrow. At 9 a.m., CSIS holds a conference on energy and a national security program. At 11, Senators John Kerry and Joe Lieberman are at the Capitol to roll out their comprehensive climate and energy legislation. 1:30, Case Energy releases a clean energy roadmap at the National Press Club. That's the Energy Report. We'll see you tomorrow with your latest energy news. For any suggestions or comments about our programming on Clean Skies News, you can email us at contact@cleanskies.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook, too. From all of us here in the Energy News Center, good night.